We're a duo, a pair of lonely ones who were meant to be a duo.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
So since I've decided to review all the Don Bluth movies, I guess it makes sense to talk about his short films as well. Before becoming Walt Disney's biggest rival, Don and his team would create 2 short films that often get swept under the rug when it comes to discussions about him. We've all had our humble beginnings, and I think it's important that these 2 films get brought up as well. Now, since they're only both about half an hour long, I figure it'd just be easier to talk about them both in one video. And as for Don's video games, honestly, I'm not too sure what to do about those. I'm not really a video game critic, but maybe I'll play those games in a charity livestream in the future. We'll see. For now though, let's begin by talking about The Small One. The Small One was officially the first thing Don ever directed. He was also the producer, which normally wouldn't be a good thing, especially since this was the first thing he was ever fully in charge of. But it ended up working out considering, oh my god, this freaking short is so good. Like seriously, how come I've never watched this before? It's actually really good! It's actually pretty crazy seeing Don Bluth's name in the director's spot of an actual Disney film, even if it is a short. This isn't like Anastasia or something which was owned by someone else and then later bought by Disney and now rests peacefully on Disney Plus. Ooh, sorry, never mind. This was made by Disney and by Don Bluth. Again, considering their legendary rivalry later down the line, it's still just so bizarre to see. The film is about a young boy named,
Boy.
I like that name. So Boy works on a farm with his father and is friends with an old donkey simply known as Small One. Small One is a smaller, older donkey who can no longer work the same way he used to, so the father is forced to sell him. The Boy, on the other hand, is very close to Small One and doesn't want to sell him. But he not man yet, he just boy. So basically the entire short is about this kid being forced to sell his best friend. Out of context, that line is amazing. I think what really makes the short work is the bond between the boy and Small One. Like, you really believe these two are very close, but I also like how the short actually shows the detriment to their relationship, how it gets in the way of their work, and how the boy, being a farmer, shouldn't really have a personal connection with the animals, and how he should consider them as property. But with that being said, he's still just a kid. You understand where he's coming from and that he would have the compassion a young kid like that would have. I like how the father isn't really a dick either. He's just trying to explain to his son that this is just how the world works and he's just gonna have to get used to it. Despite spending a short time in Nazareth, the short really brings the city alive with the music and art direction.
Yes? You have a donkey to sell?
I really like these 3 merchants who just keep following the boy and Small One around just to brag about their money. On top of that, the song is just insanely catchy.
Clink, clink, clank, clank, tip the money to the bank, telling little stories you can trust.
And fun fact, the guy who voices the Potter in this short is the same guy who sings this.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. No, no, little boy, I will not buy. That's a sorry bag of bones, I fear.
It actually turns out that Don himself actually wrote 2 of the 3 songs himself, which goes to show he knew how to write a catchy song. Wonder if he did any more of that in the future. There's not a whole lot else to say about this one. It's just a really sweet, wholesome short with a beautiful payoff in the end. It's pretty clear from the beginning who ends up buying Small One since this is biblical times, but that doesn't stop you from tearing up a bit when these 2 friends have to say goodbye to each other. And when Small One finally learns to perk his ear up in the end, oh, you're just done. Oh, you're just done. Again, I'm really surprised that Don and Disney together really knocked it out of the park with this one. It really makes you wonder what might have been should Don had stayed with Disney. Would he have been able to direct his own feature-length film in the future? Would he have been able to bring back the spirit of old Disney to Disney? These are questions that'll be forever asked by animation enthusiasts, but at least we got a small taste of that with this amazing short. Of course, then again, we would have never gotten the Lamp for Time, and therefore Spike would have never seen the light of day. And frankly, that is a war crime I don't even want to remotely think about. So let's just move on to the second short, Banjo the Woodpile Cat. I think the production of this one is actually more interesting than the actual short itself. While still working at Disney, Don was working on this short film in his own spare time. He had the help of 2 other people, one of which would later become his lifelong partner, Gary Goldman.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup! You wanna go
make an animated short film in my garage?
Yup!
Over time, word would get out around the studio, and soon enough, multiple animators were all working on this short on their days off, after work, and even on weekends. During this time, Don would reveal old secrets from the old days of Disney that he believed were no longer being utilized at the studio, so he wanted this short to bring them back. Originally, this was meant to be a full-length feature film, which even included a villain at one point. This villain would actually go on to become Warren T. Rat in An American Tail. I wasn't just joking in that opening about the similarities between this and An American Tail. I wouldn't be surprised if this short was a huge inspiration for it. But of course, money is also used for food and bills, unfortunately, so they had to settle for a half-hour-long short. After 4.5 long years of working in Don's garage, the short was finally completed. Don took it up to then studio head Ron W. Miller, hoping that Disney would buy it and maybe even make it into a full-length film later down the line. Ron then turned to Don and simply said, "No." Imagine being blueballed like that. Imagine working over 4 years just to be told no.
Big Bang Attack!
That really has to suck. No wonder Don quit soon after. In his own words, Ron simply stated that he didn't see any real value in the property. And after watching the short myself, yeah, I kinda have to side with Disney on this one. What? And that sucks to say. I have nothing but respect for everyone who worked day and night for over 4 years to make this short a reality. And to have it just be turned down in the end, that really sucks. But with that being said, I do get where Disney was coming from in the end. They weren't doing too hot financially at the time, and they needed something that was really gonna knock it out of the park. And Banjo just wasn't gonna do that. I mean, it's fine for what it is, but honestly, I think I'll be perfectly fine never watching the short again. It's just nowhere near as compelling as the small one was, or even other Disney shorts. None of the characters really stand out all that much. In fact, many of them feel like they were just recycled from other Disney properties, especially Crazy Legs, who is pretty much just Scatman Crothers' character from the Aristocats. No wonder why they chose him to voice the character. It's literally the same character with O'Malley's skin. Jesus, that's a dark thought. Some of the scenes in this short really drag as well, which is really odd seeing how short this movie is, especially that scene in the rain. This scene lasts nearly 3 minutes in this 27-minute short. That's more than 10% of the entire thing. Like, we get it, guys. Banjo is sad. We can move on to more important things now. I'd be more forgiving if the fucking singer wasn't just explaining exactly what was going on in the scene to the most minute detail.
It was raining that day.
The opening song is fine, but does Banjo really need someone narrating pretty much everything he does in this movie? It just gets really tedious and annoying as the movie goes on. With that being said though, the middle song, Stick With Me, is actually pretty good. It's really catchy and the visuals really stick out and show just how much of a passion project this was for the animation team. It also turns out that the song was written by none other than Don again. Yay! My hope that Don wrote more music has been fulfilled. Too bad he never did it again after these shorts, as he was actually really good at it. Seriously, what the fuck, Don? The characters didn't really stand out that much. The music honestly just really annoyed me, save for that one song. It's a harmless short, and I do still admire it for how much hard work was put into it, but this one just didn't click, clank, clank, get our money to the bank. Oh, god damn it, it's We Don't Talk About Bruno all over again. I wish it did click, clank, clank. I wish it worked for me. I really wish those 4.5 years spent in Don's garage really paid off. I really wish that after all that hard work, they made something truly spectacular, or at the very least, good. Believe me when I say it, it hurts to say that. But like I said before, it did work out in the long run. After being rejected, Don and his team would go on to make their own studio and create great movies like The Secret of Nim, An American Tail, and The Limp for Time. Don's future movies would challenge Disney in a way they had never been challenged before. And in a weird way, Don would succeed in helping Disney bring back their former glory. Even if it is to his own detriment. Oops! But now it's time to get back to the sequels Don had nothing to do with. And good thing too, because up next is All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. It's bad. It's so bad.
I'm all the sins that you can't confess. I'm just your ghost if we're not undressed. A part of me wish that we never met, but you act like we never got too wasted in the bathroom of your parents' house.